For getting a divorce.
You're a god among men, and I wanted to appreciate you for the public service that you provide to all of us men out here.
Tom, you're the greatest. You're the truth. I always say Tom Leykis is the truth. That's it.
Damn
That's
straight.
It.
Tom, you are so right. You are so right, and I should have listened before.
I gotta tell all my boys out Hail Mary works. I've been there, done that, bought T-shirt, man. That stuff works.
Tom, I preach your word all the time, brother, and I got to say, man, if we could get more fellas listening to you, we can get these women, in line where they need to be.
I'm an architect in L.A., and I had a secretary in my office who came in one day with a ring on her finger, and I said, congratulations on the engagement. And she explained to me how it was the chastity ring, so on and so forth. But I just wanted to say it only took about 5 seconds for the panties to come off, and the chastity ring stayed on the whole time. So I don't know how much good it did, except for it was my trophy,
I got a promise ring when I was 14 years old, and I'm 26, and the promise ring was long gone. The promise was broken before I even had it.
I just had something to add to the classic DTB thing. If any woman ever doesn't trust you or wants you to change your car or your house, you could just say NMP, not my problem. And if any woman gives you a reason to say NMP, the next logical step would probably be DTB.
There are a lot of men out there that are gullible, and they believe what a woman says, and I'm glad that you have a show that actually educates men on what they need to do, because they obviously don't know.
Did she get pregnant?
Yeah, she got pregnant, all right. I got rid of it. We got rid of it.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Lucky you.
Yeah, lucky me.
Did you dump her after that?
Of course. Of course, man.
How did she react to that?
And then I shut the phone.
I love that. If they don't cry hysterically and uncontrollably, I haven't done my job. She's having your baby. What a lovely way of saying how much money she's taken from you.
Oh, my God. I know. It's so bad.
I don't know about anyone else, but if you gave me the kind of money that Vince is getting paid, I'll let you strap a midget on my back that can boo me every 5 minutes.
I got the line that you absolutely have to use on your woman if she starts giving you some stuff. You sit back and you say, hey, that sounds like a you problem. Every single time. They don't even know what to say.
Sex feels good. The world needs to take sex less seriously and find, better ways to have it. And if you want world peace, bang the guy next to you right now. Just go up to him for no reason. Don't ask his name. Don't ask if he's got a family. Just have sex with him. The world will be a better place.
Tom, she hates my car. Absolutely hates it. It's because I spend more time with this than I do with her. But it's never
and by the way, you love it more than you love her.
Oh, hell yeah. It's reliable. Unlike, most of the women that I've known.
From a place we're not allowed to reveal, it's the Tom Leykis Show.
I kid would all fight with my kids, and I still had it going on.
And now, here he is, Tom Leykis.
Thank you for tuning into the Tom Leykis Show. This is where America gets together to talk about the issues you really care about. It's a different kind of a radio talk program. We're the radio talk show that is not hosted by a right-wing whacker or a convicted felon. No. I am your host. Write down our telephone number. You're going to need it. It's 1-800-5800-TOM. 1-800-5800-866. Thank you for tuning in. Thanks for being part of our program. Here we are together again on the radio on just another fantastic Friday here in Southern California. Fantastic. While the rest of everybody in the country is worrying about hurricanes or worrying about cold weather because the temperature falls off a cliff after Labor Day. In Southern California, we still have great weather. And I'm enjoying it right now. Just looking at it. Fantastic. Wide open telephones on the Tom Leykis Show. And, of course, anything goes here, anything at all. We can talk about anything that's on your mind. Anything. Anything. Talk about whatever we discussed on the air this week. By the way, we had quite the list this week. We talked to people who thought they knew more than the professor and heard how outrageous some of those stories were. Some of those guys just, they couldn't take a warning. They couldn't take some advice. They thought they knew more. They went ahead and did it their own way. Amazing stories we had here. We talked about Tennessee Titans quarterback Vince Young, the pussy who, after he was intercepted twice in the Titans' first game of the season, he went crying home to mommy. He didn't want to go back into the game. Jesus. We talked some more about the Sarah Palin family. We had Mike Walker from the National Enquirer, and he was on here talking about allegations that track the brave son who's off to Iraq allegedly has tracks. You know what I'm talking about? Just amazing. By the way, did you see Sarah Palin on Nightline last night? Probably not. If you get a chance, go to the abcnews.com website and either get a look at this interview or get a look at the transcripts. I'm going to repeat what I have said before. I'm not the president or the vice president, and there's a reason for that. Not just because I'm stupid, but also because I want the president and, of course, the vice president, because the vice president could become the president, I want them to be smarter and better than I am. I don't want a president I can have a beer with. I don't want a president I can carpool with. I don't want a president or a vice president I can go to Starbucks with. I don't want a president I can go hunting with. I want someone of superior intelligence and intellect who's better at stuff than I am, who knows more about world affairs than I do. I want somebody who's better. This idea that you have to have a president you can have a coffee with or a beer, it's insanity. They even take polls and ask you which candidate do you think you could have a beer with. McCain or Obama. So give me a break. Now you hear all these morons saying, I like Sarah Palin because she's just like me. Which will give you an idea about, how women decide who to vote for. I don't care what she knows about the issues or if she doesn't know what the Bush doctrine is. I don't care if she is not sure about who the heads of state are or if she thinks she knows about the internal workings of Russia because Russia and Alaska have almost a border. They're almost touching. I don't care about that. All I care about is she looks like me. She looks like a great gal. Stupid. Just a bunch of morons. You're going to get the president and vice president you deserve. And that's the bottom line. That's what you've had the last 8 years, and you're going to get it again. You're going to. Give it up. Totally amazing. We talked about women who get pregnant accidentally on purpose. How a large percentage of the women who say they are impregnated by accident, well, it really wasn't an accident. They wanted to get pregnant. Something I've been telling you for years, but now they've actually done a survey of women and found this to be true. What a surprise. We talked about the new CW show, 90210. It's a remake of Beverly Hills 90210 with some actors from the original dropping in and a whole bunch of new, hot, young actors in it. And the Parents Television Council now says it's vulgar, it's horrible, it's terrible. Going after the advertisers, for God's sake. And my position on that was anytime you protest one of these shows, all you're doing is calling attention to it and boosting ratings. We talked about reports that these shows, like So You Think You Can Dance and Dancing with the Stars, have actually enticed men to take up ballroom dancing. Meow. Are you kidding me? We talked about American psychotherapist Gary Newman, a guest on the Oprah show, who essentially says that if a man cheats, it's probably his wife's fault. We talked about the god-awful Video Music Awards of MTV. Horrible, horrible, horrible. And kind of attached to that, Jordan Sparks commented at the VMAs that she wears a purity ring because she doesn't want to look like a slut. Looking like a slob, she doesn't mind. But looking like a slut, we can't have that. Anyway, it's that simple. It's anything we talked about this week, anything you think we should have gotten into that we didn't. You can call up, yell, scream, complain, jump up and down. It's all fair game, as long as you're absolutely fascinating. And if you're not, we're going to kick your ass the hell off the telephone. All you have to do is dial in.
Tom Leykis. 1-800-5800-TOM. 1-800-5800-866.
Tom, I love listening to you. I'll listen to you till the day I die.
The Tom Leykis Show.
Friday, the Tom Leykis Show. Wide open telephones, 1-800-5800-TOM. That is our telephone number. Thank you for tuning in. Anything can happen here. Probably will. It's Nima of the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Tom, how are you, brother?
Doing great.
Man, let me tell you, if there's one topic I'm happy I got through to talk about, it's this one. Because, God, I hate this bitch, Sarah Palin. I cannot stand her at all. And I can't believe that the people in this country, when presented with these two candidates, can actually, if any of them can prefer the other side, they have to be retarded.
Well, understand, we have a retard for president.
That's
and that
true.
has, by the way, that has nothing to do with his politics. The guy is just not well read.
You're right.
Clearly he has no
illiterate.
attention span. It has nothing to do with his politics because, believe me, I've voted for Republicans. It has nothing to do with that, and I'm a fiscal conservative, which George Bush isn't anyway.
Wait,
the guy's a dope. I'm a social liberal and fiscal conservative, which is generally known as a libertarian.
Okay.
You see? I'm in favor of the First Amendment. I'm in favor of legalized guns and legalized drugs. Legal abortion. Get the government out of your life for real.
But you want the taxes low in the right places.
Well, first of all, I don't want the country in debt. So in the short term, and this is why I can't belong to any party, clearly we have to raise taxes in the short term to pay for all the bad behavior of the last 8 years.
Okay, I mean, I can respect that, but it's like this time around with the candidates, I mean, first of all, McCain, compared to Obama, was already a clear choice. And now that Palin's in the picture, the fact that more people like that side of things, it's just ridiculous. Her speech at the Republican National Convention was just the biggest pile of superficial BS I've ever heard.
Yeah, but guess what? It worked. McCain's now in the lead. And I got to tell you something, because the American people are so uninterested in politics that just like they said about George Bush being the kind of guy they can have a beer with, I hear people go, oh, she's a housewife. She's just like my wife. She's just like me. I mean, you know, you're supposed to vote for somebody who is smart, savvy, educated.
Like you said, someone smarter than the rest of us, you know?
Well, you know what? When I vote, I'm going to vote for somebody who's smarter than me.
Right.
They have to be smarter than me. I don't want to have a beer with the president. I want the president to be smarter than me.
100% agreed.
And when you watch Sarah Palin, it doesn't matter if she's a housewife. It doesn't matter if she shoots guns and she likes hunting. It doesn't matter if she likes to hang out with the boys and have a beer. None of that stuff matters. She's a mother of a special needs child. This stuff is irrelevant. You
know what the best part of that whole argument is, Tom? They say that the fact that she's a mother and she has motherly values makes her qualified. And, like, that's a selling point on her, but we have to completely ignore the fact that her little slut daughter is pregnant with some redneck kid. And I don't say that redneck kid just out of pure prejudice, all right? If you saw the crap on this kid's MySpace, ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Yep, but the Republicans know that people your age won't vote, won't read, won't pay attention. Oh, sure, they got all excited about Obama for a while, but they've already moved on. And now that we're down to actual political diatribe, most people have moved on to other stuff.
And they're stupid for it.
I'm not saying they're stupid or not. That's just how it is.
I mean, if that's how it's going to stay, I think we're all going down. Can you take me out with a bong rip, Tom?
I certainly can, Nima. Here you go. It's 1-800-5800-TOM. That's our telephone number. Hector on the Tom Leykis show. Hello.
Hi, Tom.
Hi, Hector.
I don't have an exact idea regarding the comment that you made earlier. You said something about Jordan Sparks wearing a purity ring and that she was trying to avoid to look like a slut, but at the same time she looked like a slob.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm guessing that if she's wearing this purity ring is because she's a virgin. Is that correct?
Well, I don't know if that means she's a virgin or that means she's a so-called born-again virgin or if it's just that she's trying to get publicity. I don't know what it means.
Mm. Well, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, if, let's say, she is a virgin and she stands for that, I think that's a beautiful thing. If she is a born-again virgin, which is something that, it's kind of hard for me to believe, but if that's her stance, I mean, I think that's great. I would 1,000 times prefer her being a girl who's pure than some hot chick who's a hoe that everybody's banged. So I don't see why you would have anything against her.
Well, it's not that I have anything against her. I don't have anything against her, but let's face facts. She's fat.
I mean, that doesn't have anything to do with the fact that she's trying to keep herself pure. I mean, if she's going to...
Well, I would say the extra 50 to 75 pounds she carries around is a good way to stay pure.
I mean, but that has nothing to do with it. If I'm talking about the fact that she's trying to keep pure. Just sending a message out there to like other young girls is a good message you want to be sent. Why do you
don't need to be wearing a ring to do that. If you don't want to have sex, don't have sex.
It's a good
but what? Would you waste your time dating a woman who won't have sex with you?
If I knew I was going to marry her, why wouldn't I?
But you don't know that until you've been dating her for a while. Would you waste time dating a woman who won't have sex with you?
Yeah, I mean, if I'm looking to get married, I would, obviously. I mean, I don't want to marry a hoe. Why would I want to marry a hoe?
You know what? Somebody who's had sex before isn't necessarily a hoe.
Well,
I mean, what if you met a woman who was married to one man, and then she got a divorce? Maybe he left her because he was cheating on her. Is she a hoe?
Not at all. Not at all. See,
all right, well, there you go. So would you not marry somebody who had had sex before?
I mean... I would marry someone who has integrity and morals. If they've had sex before, I understand any given situation. And that's what
and why does having sex mean you have no integrity or morals?
I mean, I'm just saying. No, I didn't make
Have you ever been married, Hector?
Yes, I'm married. I'm currently married.
When did you get married? How old were you?
I got married earlier this year, sir.
I see. And you were a virgin when you got married?
No, I wasn't.
Who do you think you are talking about integrity and morals? Are you an immoral person?
But that's not the quote.
Are you an immoral person? Answer the question.
Well, yes, I am.
You're an immoral person and you have no integrity?
I try to have as much integrity.
You have no integrity?
No, I said I try to have
You said that women who've had sex before have no integrity, no morals. So you were not a virgin when you got married. Were you devoid of integrity? I want to know.
You asked me if I was
That's a yes or a no.
Let me ask.
Or goodbye. No, you can't ask me anything. Thank you for calling. You're not going to drive the bus. I drive the bus, Hector. Jesus. 1-800-5800-TOM. That's our telephone number. It's Anthony on Wide Open Telephones on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Guy with an idiot. What's up, Tom? Hey, I had a question from one Dodger fan to another. What your thoughts were on them, the chances of them winning the division, for one. Two, chances of us keeping Manny next year. And three, if there's a particular section you like to sit in when you go to the games.
Well, I have a credential, so lately I've been sitting in the press box.
Oh, that must be nice. Okay.
It's very nice, and got a parking space and everything, so that's cool. By the way, in all the years I've been in L.A., I've never had a credential. It's the first time I've had a press credential.
Yeah.
Now, as far as keeping Manny next year, my guess, if the Dodgers are willing to pay him $75 million for 3 years or $100 million for 4 years, he'll be here. And if not, he might not be here. Keep
you really think we'll have to pay him that much?
Well, he was getting $20 million from the Red Sox, and he's getting that paid now by the Red Sox. Yeah, and he opted out of 2 years of $20 million a year, so he's not going to take less than $20 million.
No. I hear you. Okay. Well, sounds good, but hey, can you take me out, Snoop Dogg?
Yeah, absolutely. Here you go.
Hey.
B.I.H. There it is. 1-800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. And as far as the Dodgers winning the division, well, this has always been a question of which team was worse, the Dodgers or the Diamondbacks. And now we see by the number of games the Diamondbacks have lost the last couple of weeks, it looks like the Diamondbacks are even worse than the Dodgers. Keep in mind that the Yankees, who are on the verge of being eliminated, have a better record than the Dodgers. And it's my opinion that the Dodgers will win the division, will make the playoffs, will get knocked out in the first round. Unless the Cubs fall apart. But I don't think the Cubs are playing the if the playoffs were held today, I think the Brewers would be the wild card team. So it would be if they were being held today, it'd be the Dodgers against the Mets. And the Mets have played pretty well the last couple of months, so I wouldn't put it this way, I wouldn't be putting in reservations for the World Series tickets just yet. 1-800-5800-TOM. That's our telephone number. Here is Carrie on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hello. Can you hear me, Tom?
No, I can't.
Okay, let me try to walk around so I can get you. I wanted to comment about Sarah Palin. Can you hear me now?
No.
Okay. Are you teasing me?
Yes.
Okay. I wanted to comment about Sarah Palin. I totally agree with what you were saying earlier about her. I am baffled and shocked at how people cannot see through her. And I'm particularly frustrated with how much women love her. I'm so annoyed by the fact that she is a mother of 5 and yet thinks it's her duty to serve her country more than it is to serve her children. She especially has a special needs child who, that's my understanding, her infant has Down syndrome, right?
By the way, my opinion is that she is so uninformed. She would be doing both at the same time. She'd be serving her country by staying home with her children.
Absolutely. And I listen to your show a lot, and I know that that's something you emphasize, that women need to raise their children. And I really agree with you. Listen, she needs to be a mom. Her job is to be a mom and be vice president. And furthermore, I just have to say, if somebody is not smart enough to birth control and gets herself knocked up at 18, and then her daughter is not smart enough to use birth control because her mom didn't teach her how to use birth control and gets knocked up at 17, that person doesn't get to be my vice president. I just don't agree with that.
Yes, she does.
She's clearly not bright.
Yeah, but I'm telling you, yes, she is probably going to become your vice president. You know that.
It really frustrates me, and I agree with you. I was listening to your show earlier this week. The Democrats are being such pussies right now. Someone needs to call her out on her BS. Just because she talks loud when she answers a question doesn't mean she has anything intelligent to say. She sounds like a whiny, nagging mother all the time. I cannot stand it. And I'm frustrated, too, as women. And I'm a feminist, trust me. I believe that it's important for women to get involved in government. But I also have a problem with the fact of the message that she's sending to women in general, which is that you can do it all, that you can be vice president and you can be mother of 5 children, when the reality is you may be able to do it all, but you're not going to do anything well. And I think that many women of my generation are struggling with that notion that our mothers taught us, that you can do it all. You can be a single mom. You can have a career. You can have a life. It doesn't pan out that way. You can juggle all you want, but everything suffers and you do nothing well. And you end up at the end of the day feeling frustrated and tired and like a failure. The most important thing for her is to be a mom to her children, and especially with this 17-year-old having a daughter, she's going to raise that kid too. So that's her big job. She doesn't get to be president in my book. It's ridiculous how much people love her. I cannot understand it. And it makes me so frustrated.
Because, again, it's because Americans hate politics. So they look at people like Sarah Palin like relatable characters on a reality show. Ooh, she's like me. And that's the same thing they did with George Bush, by the way. Oh, he partied in college. It's like old school. You see that movie? I love that. Did you love that? I mean, this is how America is. That's what you have, and that's why it's falling apart, and it will continue to fall apart.
I know, and it's frustrating to me. I can't believe it. And I know we must look like the biggest idiots to the rest of the world that we fall for this every single time.
Well, but you know, I'll tell you what, a little traveling around the world would do Americans good. But, of course, Sarah Palin didn't need to travel anywhere. Why should you?
Exactly, yeah. She's clearly not so worldly or educated at all, for that matter. It's just, I don't even know what to do with her. And I'm embarrassed for our country that we're going to fall for this again, and we're going to have 4 more years of the same thing, or 8 for that matter. It's so frustrating to me that because people don't believe in abortion, that they're the moral and therefore godly choice. So I cannot understand how we are getting pulled into this again. And I don't understand people's infatuation with this crazy woman.
Well, I'm telling you what it is. They're saying that's exactly what they're saying. She's like me. She's a housewife like me. I like that.
But I agree with you, Tom. I want somebody who isn't like me. I want someone who's smarter than me and can think about a decision before spouting off. And that's exactly what Obama does. He is a thinking person, and he's educated, and he doesn't, give these off-the-cuff answers because they sound good and they make good sound bites and they sound so confident. He thinks about it and he comes to a rational decision before he baffles off something ridiculous. And I don't understand why people, oh my gosh, it's so frustrating to me. And it's frustrating as a mom because I have children too, and I cannot abide the ridiculous government that we have that makes choices that affect my children.
Well, again, because people your age, you're 31 years old, I see here.
I am.
Yeah. Women like you will spend more time reading Us Weekly and wondering what's happening to Lindsay Lohan and Paris Hilton than they are about who's running for office. And running for office is like watching an episode of Survivor or The Apprentice.
Well, and I don't understand why women can't watch their tabloid television shows and read Us Weekly, but also be educated about important things like politics that affect our lives.
Because they see it as all the same thing. People don't compartmentalize their lives. If what your interests are is watching reality shows and reading gossip publications and watching the TMZ TV show, then that's what your interest in politics is going to be.
It's so annoying. And it depresses me as a woman, I have to say. But I think you're doing a great job, Tom. I listen to your show all the time on my way home from work. I love you. Keep it up. You're awesome. Take me out old school style.
Here you go, Carrie. It's wide open telephones on the Tom Leykis Show on this Friday. It's 1-800-5800-TOM. That's our telephone number. Anything goes, anything at all, anything can happen. Now, all you have to do is make it happen.
Tom Leykis. 1-800-5800-TOM. 1-800-5800-866.
You'll be glad to know when I did the DTB email I got from my girl said, and if I hear the name Tom Leykis one more time, I'm going to throw up.
It's the Tom Leykis Show.
It's the Tom Leykis Show. Yes, it is. At 1-800-5800-TOM, wide open telephones. Anything goes. It's Rose on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello. Rose?
Hola, here I am. Sorry I couldn't hear you.
Well? Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. I'm sorry. I just want to say you're number one. I love listening to your show. Little double standard, though. My daughter's not allowed to listen to you, but my son will be forced to listen to you. But I wanted to see what your opinion is about these girls who are in college who are now selling their virginity in order to pay for college tuition. What do you think about that?
I don't know how that's even legal. Isn't that prostitution?
I would think so, but it's on the internet, I guess, now, and they're putting it out there and trying to sell it to see how much they can get or who the highest
Gary
bidder
tells
is.
me this. Gary tells me this has something to do with the Bunny Ranch. It's some kind of promotion.
Okay. I didn't know if this was a legit thing. I was just curious. But yeah,
I
don't
see. I don't think it could be legal unless it was in a place where prostitution is legal. And even then, I can't believe it would be legal to advertise it on, like, eBay or somewhere like that, because that's interstate commerce. I don't think that would be legal.
That's true. It's a good idea, though.
Well, guess what? I think it should be legal. I don't think... you know what? That is your commodity. And many women sell it off anyway by marrying a rich guy or what have you.
Exactly. Or give it away to some loser in a bar and regret it later. I mean, if you're going to do it, you might as well pay your college tuition and get something out of it if that's what they want to do. I don't see why not. I don't think it should be illegal. It's yours.
Well, that's how I feel about it.
All right, Tom. Yeah, see, my daughter's already asking if I'm talking to you. No, I'm not. Thank you, Tom.
Thank you, Rose.
No, I'm not. Goodbye.
I appreciate the call. Rose is only 27. How old could her daughter be? 1-800-5800-TOM. That's our telephone number. Jessica on the Tom Leykis Show with wide open telephones. Hello.
Hi, Tom.
Hi.
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 Hello, Tom.
Hello.
Hi. I actually don't want to waste a whole lot of your time because Carrie, the caller 2 callers ago, said essentially the same thing I was going to say about Palin. She drives me insane, and I've been listening to you for about 2 years now, and I disagree with a lot that you say, but I agree with you 100% on your politics, and somehow I just adore you even with disagreeing with you a lot of the time. But I just think Palin, it's been really eye-opening for me to see the way our country has wrapped themselves around this woman that knows absolutely nothing, and it's frightening to think about what this could mean for us. So I don't want to waste a whole lot of your time and say exactly what the two of you talked about because I felt like I was listening to myself when you guys were talking. But
remember earlier in the year when people were saying, oh, the young people are getting so involved. It's so great. There's a candidate they can get excited about. Yeah, guess what? Latest poll, he's losing.
I know. It's frightening. It is extremely frightening. In her interview last night, I only saw part of it, but it just scared me more to see her blank expression and her throw the question right back at Charlie Gibson. It's like, it makes me just get all hot and bothered inside. So it's just crazy making. It's crazy making. But yes. I adore you, and I think even with having some different opinions than you do, I listen to you every day on my way back home from work. So
let me ask you one last question, Jessica. No offense to you, because clearly you're an informed person, but your friends on election night, will they be watching TMZ or election coverage?
You know, probably a lot of them will be watching election coverage, and probably a lot of them won't be. And that's and some of my friends even are going to vote for McCain, and I can't even. Oh God! See, I just get all pissed just thinking about it. But yeah, I mean, that's the thing is our country wants to remain ignorant. If they have a leader saying that they should be fearful of something, they will latch on to that and go, well, then let's go for the gold. And they don't care what the gold is.
You don't understand.
And the leaders
we celebrate stupidity.
We do. We do.
I mean, understand, this is the country where there was not only a TV show and a movie called Jackass, there was a Jackass Part 2.
Yes, there was. And we follow all of that. And our president was Jackass Part 2 and 3 and 4, and he's disgusting. And I know the first time he was elected, I was frightened but still hopeful. And the second time he was elected, I feel like a part of me just wanted to just let go and go, you know what, if this is the kind of thing our country wants to follow. And I was living in Arizona at the time, and I was surrounded mostly, honestly, by Republicans, and it was frightening to see how much people down there thought this man was brilliant. And the more and more stupid things he did, the more they still just rallied behind him because, you know, USA, USA. It's like, come on, we're all in this world together, and let's just try to... Oh, I'm shaking. I'm so angry right now.
I understand. Jessica, thank you.
Thank you, Tom. And take me out however you want to take me out. I listen to you enough where you can just take me out.
Here you go. 1-800-5800-TOM. Here comes Mike on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hey, Tom.
Hey.
How you doing today?
Doing great.
Good to hear. Good to hear. Yeah, I noticed that you talked about the Dodgers and have a lot of Dodgers callers. I want to know what you thought about the Angels. Last time I checked, the Dodgers don't have a pitcher about to break the save record.
Well, breaking the save record is not the best thing about the Angels because you can brag about that now, but the Angels are not going to re-sign Francisco Rodriguez. They're going to let him go to free agency. And someone else, that's what's going to happen.
I think he'll probably go to the Yankees.
Whoever he goes to, does breaking the save record really matter since he's only going to use that to be a bigger and bigger free agent? And the more money that he can command, the less likely it is the Angels will re-sign him.
Yes, that's right.
So enjoy it while you can.
But I was also wondering why the Angels are so awesome.
Well, the Angels have a better organization than the Dodgers. It's just there's just no two ways about it. They have a system put in place by Mike Scioscia and by the former general manager Bill Stoneman. The players are trained in fundamentals in order to save payroll. They have trained players in the art of the stolen base and manufacturing runs and just playing fundamental baseball. And that way they don't have to pay people $25 million to hit home runs. Yeah, and it's a system that other people are starting to copy, like the Tampa Bay Rays, for example. And it's really a better version of what the Oakland A's had done because for all the publicity that the Oakland A's got for having Billy Beane and playing baseball the way they have, what have they won the last 20 years?
Not much.
So, look, you're not going to... I'm not that kind of sports fan. You're not going to call here, even though I'm a Dodger fan. I'm a Dodger fan because I live in Los Angeles. You're not going to get me to say that the Dodgers are better than the Angels and you're crazy. The Angels are clearly not only a better team than the Dodgers, I think the Angels will probably win the World Series this year. The only drawback they have, in my view, is the fact that they've clinched the division so early. The track record for teams that clinch early is not great.
Yeah, true.
But it's not for lack of talent. They're a very talented team, and Mike Scioscia, who the Dodgers let get away, has proven to be a very, very, very cagey manager. Very bright.
Well, Tom, I just wanted to call and thank you for my call and show some angel love. Can you take me out with Kurt Cobain?
Kurt Cobain. Here you go. 1-800-5800-TOM. That's our telephone number. Sarah on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello. Sarah on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello. This gets old.
Hi, Tom.
How many times do I have to say it?
Sorry. It's a very common name.
But I picked up the phone and you could hear it pick up.
I'm on my car phone. It's a little bit different.
Everyone's on their car phone, darling.
Okay, well then let's just get to it. I just kind of have a question about this whole Sarah Palin thing. I'm kind of agreeing with a lot of things that people are saying, but I just wanted to bring up the topic that she does have a husband, and it's not the first time you've ever heard of a husband that would take care of the kids, right?
That's not the point. If you got 5 children, you really need 2 parents to do that. And one of them has Down syndrome, you really need 2 parents.
Well, so then both parents should stay at home and not have careers?
I would say that both parents really have to hunker down, and I would certainly say they should have careers that are close to home.
Well, close to home meaning Alaska?
If that's where they live.
Well, why can't they move their family to D.C.?
But even then, you're going to have one parent who's focused on traveling all the time and not being around. It's not sufficient. And by the way, don't conservatives talk about the need for women to stay at home and raise their kids?
Sure they do, but I don't agree with that.
Except if they're conservatives, right?
Yeah, I suppose.
You know, Dr. Laura telling people to stay home and raise their kids while she was coming to work and her little kid was running up and down the hallways of the radio station screaming. I mean, come on.
I don't necessarily think that women should bring their kids to work with them in order to sustain a profitable career, but...
You know, the job of vice president doesn't pay all that well.
No, it doesn't. Neither does president.
And so it's not like you're going to be able to hire nannies and hire all these people. The president only makes $400,000 a year.
Right, but...
And I think the vice president makes about $200,000.
Doesn't the White House come fully staffed with all kinds of people to wipe everybody's nose?
Well, guess what? The vice president doesn't live at the White House.
Well, doesn't the president able to delegate some of those people that are there to
I do not think the White House does child care.
Oh. So no president before has had children.
Most presidents haven't had children under the age of 13. This is very unusual. Thank you for the call.
The Tom Leykis Show.